What's up, everybody? It's Vincent here. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about the best investing and breaking news with everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today we're going to be talking about NFTs. Are NFTs worth the investment? And I think this is a great video for everybody to kind of learn, just to kind of get a sense of, if you're a beginner, if you've been in the space already. This video is just my own perspective, and none of this is advice on what to acquire. It's just my own personal opinion, but I'm glad that you guys are tuning in right now, and I'm glad to be sharing these little insights with you in my own experience. So let's start off with the most commonly asked question some of you may know, but let's just go ahead and kind of classify what an NFT is. An NFT, well, it's a non-fungible token. And they're one-of-a-kind digital assets that can take the form of GIFs, tweets, and more. It could even be music, which is another cool thing that I think is really great for musicians, people who produce music. They exist on blockchain currency and give the buyer digital owner rights. Now, why NFTs have been kind of blowing up recently and why it's reaching around a $2 billion market cap to date, and why people are putting money into this type of culture is because now normal people, no matter where you are around the world, can acquire assets or artwork of your own. And sometimes people weren't given that type of opportunity to acquire artwork because, either they didn't have too much money or they just didn't have the ends with the Sotheby's or Christie's, so this is like a new way of helping the artist who gets, who's basically selling their art to basically the world. And it also helps the acquirer who acquires basically the authenticity of your NFT. So basically no one can fake your artwork. No one can fake your GIFs, tweets, or your music, or anything that you want to produce. So that's what's great about the blockchain, is that the NFTs kind of prove its authenticity, and that kind of is rare if you're talking about art itself. So let's see if we can describe what platforms that you can acquire these NFTs, and we're going to talk about 4 specifically. The first one I'm going to talk about is OpenSea, and this is a very common NFT marketplace where people, if you're an artist, if you're an acquirer, this is a great place to go. And as you can tell, there's like tons of things that you can look for. There's artists from all walks of life with all sorts of styles, and how they pay is through Ethereum, and that's what the symbol is. This is an ETH, and basically this is just like 0.07 of Ethereum, and Ethereum right now is around, at this moment, $2,100. So you can tell, like, okay, is this worth the investment? And you would have to connect your wallet and transfer your ETH to pay for these purchases. And the same goes for another website called Rarible. This also is a place where you can acquire artwork and use your Ethereum to purchase nice quality works of art. And as you can tell, there are all sorts of different types of art here that's both digital or just plain paintings, or it could just be an image, or music. So those are all sorts of ways you could do that. 2 other ones that I think we should bring up, which I brought in my previous video, is Akomi, and I won't go too much in detail into this since we have already done a previous video on this, and feel free to click on the link provided to watch that video. But VV is just a simple app where you can, instead of buying Ethereum and using that Ethereum to make purchases on those other websites like OpenSea and Rarible, you can go in Akomi and just use your own dollars and convert it to gems. And those gems is like a digital dollar in this app. And you can acquire more brands and all that jazz. Another website that I think is the most popular one is Nifty Gateway. And this is owned by the Gemini founders, aka the Winklevoss brothers. This is a place where you don't have to use NFTs. I'm sorry, not NFTs. You don't have to use Ethereum, and you don't have to convert your monies into gems. It's basically you just connect your credit card and you just buy it out with cash. And this is where Beeple, the famous artist Beeple, sold some of his earlier works, and kind of, surprised a lot of people with the quality and also the value worth of his artwork, how it's just skyrocketed. And I think it's definitely worthy of a place to be checking out. And there's some really great stories that come out of these, different platforms. One story I think is really unique is this person right here. His artist name goes by Fewocious, but his real name is Victor. And so Victor was able to auction off his artwork through Christie's. And this artist is only 18 years old. And what's great about this is that it just proves that if you, it doesn't matter how old or, if you're kind of new to the space, you can create your own NFT, and you can, there are just so many more possibilities. And for this person, they were able to find a way to have their art shown in a prestigious, auction house, and earn a lot of money just for what they love to do. And this person is, what I love about this artist too is that this artist is transgender, which it just goes to show, there's no limitations. Like, if you're an artist, we're not going to classify you based on who you are and where you come from. It's what you make and what you produce. And that's what art is. Art is about the art. And, this is providing a lot of hope for a lot of people, who are new to the space, who are artists, don't want to be considered struggling artists, but money-making artists that thrive in creating, producing art. And kind of before Victor, aka Fewocious, got their 2 million auction house win, there was also Beeple. Beeple was one of the first digital artists that hit the mainstream media, where before they had an auction that we're going to talk about a little bit that really put Beeple on the map. This one was the start of his kind of rise, and he sold one of his artworks for 6.6 million. And it's this one right here. I think we all know who that is. But it was basically a digital video art, and people weren't sure what to make of this because it was just such a new thing. And this was sold on some of his work was sold on Nifty Gateway, but it really made people think, like, is NFTs like the future? Is this something that we should be looking at? And just to kind of close it all down, Beeple created another NFT that was called the First 5,000 Days, where it was just basically one JPEG image, and in that JPEG image had 5,000 artworks of Beeple. And the person who bought it was Vignesh, aka Metakoven, and he wanted to buy this artwork and also kind of teach people why it is so important in the NFT space to understand and operate in the NFT world. And so he wanted to use this artwork as an example to kind of brand his company, brand his mission to spread that awareness within his community. So these are some of the great stories that I think is really cool, is because there is a space for this. But I also think that there are certain cons to this as well, because once the NFT world started blowing up in the mainstream media, there are other people out there that took advantage of this and decided, what, if they can make an NFT, I want to make an NFT as well. And while NFTs should be for the normal everyday artists, there are some people who have it maybe a little bit better than most people and decide, I'm going to make my own NFT. So here we have certain celebrities that decide, I'm just going to make an NFT. And for instance, Paris Hilton just drew her cat and was like, I'm just going to sell this, and sold her for $17,000. It's not a lot, but this space is supposed to be for everybody. But the problem is, some of these celebrities are wanting the attention to be about them, and they're not letting the little people, the artists that have been doing this most of their life, to capitalize on it. And you see that Lindsay Lohan did one, Grimes did one, Snoop Dogg did one, Ellen did one, Steve Aoki on Nifty Gateway did one. I mean, the list just keeps going on and on and on. And so you can tell that, people just want to keep hopping on the bandwagon when something's popular. But once this is all over, are they still going to be artists? No, they'll move on to the next big thing. And I think that's one of the cons is like, okay, celebrities are being part of this. Well, is this space really for me? And another thing that I think is kind of something that people don't really talk about is, what happens when you acquire the art? Like you acquire it, but what if you want to make money off of it? And that was your main reason. Like, okay, I want to buy artwork and I want to resell it. Well, guess what? There was a great example of deadmau5 who, created an NFT, and it's basically like this image of, this mouse, just zooming in and out, and there's music being played in the background. And when it was selling for, $1,250 at the time, which is quite a lot for an NFT. But again, like there are more NFTs that are way more than that. But for deadmau5 and just entering the space with this, I think that's a lot, But some people were like, I want to buy one of those because there's only 236. The scarcity, there's definitely going to be value in this. But when you go down to, the marketplace of how much people are reselling it, people are selling it for way less than that. 200, 330, 500. This is not making money. This is like people who desperately just want to get it off their hands, give it to somebody. Maybe they didn't like it anymore. Maybe they wanted to share it and just at least have some bucks to take away with them. But if you're going into this space wanting to make money, this is not for you. NFTs is, if you don't do your research and you don't treat this like artwork, then you're just a blind bat who just acquires random things. And some people think that that's not just the last straw. Like, okay, well, if it's not celebrities, how worse can it get? Well, guess what if NFTs end up destroying real art's work? And everybody knows about the whole Banksy being burnt to be turned into an NFT. And yes, when this this real artwork was certified by Banksy's company called Pest Control, which basically, certifies what's real and what's authentic by having a certificate being delivered to people. This was before NFTs in the blockchain, and when they burned it, they sold it for $380,000 as an NFT. So basically, they burned it out of existence and they resold it as an NFT. And, this is one of the devastating things about it, is because I don't hear any stories of this person who did acquire it for that much reselling it, because honestly, it's not going to resell for anything higher than that. And if it does, I feel bad for that person who's trying to resell it later. If you really want to acquire real artwork, especially a Banksy, buy it the right way. Do the hard work, do your due diligence, and it's not easy to acquire a Banksy. It really isn't. You have to buy it from either auction houses, which I don't recommend. It's just really hard to acquire, and that's what makes his artwork so valuable, is that it belongs either on the street in graffiti, or if he did some of these prints from POW, then you should probably buy from legit art houses and make sure that it's certified by Pest Control. These things kind of are devastating to me, and this is one of the cons of the NFT space, and where I think you should probably limit yourself and be very careful of what you acquire. So let's conclude. Are NFTs worth the investment? Well, I think that I can help you a little bit by understanding maybe just some principles. Who is worth investing? And as examples, like I made before, I think there are a couple things that I think you guys should look for. So number one, Beeple is definitely an artist I think you should definitely keep an eye out for, because his artwork, he was the one that basically got NFTs to be blowing up on the map, and especially for video digital artists. And if you go on Nifty Gateway, he may release another collection of art, and you can sign up for a raffle where you just put in $1 and you hope that if you get selected for the raffle, you only have to pay $1. And then, there are other artworks that are on, an auction where you have to bid, and, that can cost more money. But I've noticed that Beeple's artwork can resell for a little bit more than what it initially was sold for. So, if I were to look for an investment towards an artist, I would invest in Beeple, because he deserves it. He worked every day for it, and it's something to kind of brag about. And another NFT I would say is CryptoKitties, and specifically the first 100 NFT minted CryptoKitties. You can buy this on OpenSea. And the reason CryptoKitties was to me like a worthy investment is because it was one of the first NFTs built on the OpenSea platform. And personally, I love cats. I don't know if you like cats. If you don't like cats, maybe it's not for you. But CryptoKitties is definitely, I think, a really worthy investment. I think in the immediate and short term, not for the long term. Beeple is more for long term, but I think CryptoKitties is short to immediate term, where you invest in it and then you enjoy it, and then maybe you decide to sell it a year from now. But again, appreciate it as artwork, not as money, because you really need to enjoy what you invest in. You have to fall in love with it. And some people like CryptoKitties, some people like CryptoPunks. CryptoPunks is another one where, it was one of the first NFTs being built on the OpenSea platform, and there's very limited designs of this, and some people love it. And that's another one I would suggest. Maybe if you want to dip your toes in, try CryptoPunks. It's, they're both very expensive in Ethereum, but maybe it's worth it. And if you don't want to do that, try a Comey. Marvel's coming soon. There are rumors of Pokemon, and recently I just heard Star Wars is another rumor of being put onto the app. And, with everything on Comey, it's actually quite affordable. Things can cost maybe just like $10 to $80, which I think is pretty legitimate. And these are augmented reality NFTs. And, you can't fake it. You can only buy it and sell it on here. And it's a great collection, especially that Marvel's coming soon. Now, to conclude, acquire NFTs from prominent digital artists. Make sure that they have huge demand and that they're scarce artworks. You don't want to buy something that has like a billion of them made, because since this is digital, you can buy a billion, you can accidentally buy an NFT that, isn't as scarce as it should be. And, you find out there's like 1,000 copies, or, thousands and thousands of versions of this, and it doesn't make it so appreciative. You don't feel like you connect with it so well. And, you want to make sure that the artists themselves have a great history. You want to make sure that they have, it has to connect with you spiritually, is what I'm trying to say. They have to connect with you as artwork. And NFTs, again, is art. Art is art. Art is not money. Invest in crypto, then artwork. The reason I say this is because, don't come into space trying to make money. Try to come into space as if you're an art collector. And if you don't like being an art collector, if you don't appreciate art, then don't invest and buy NFTs. Invest in the companies that create the NFTs. And there's plenty of them out there. Omi is definitely one that I suggest, but again, not a financial advisor, just financial opinion and entertainment. But that's just one avenue that I would invest in to a cryptocurrency for an NFT marketplace. And the number one thing that I will say is be a smart collector. Imagine you're a collector who's going out in the world and trying to find value beyond the dollar. Find value behind the narrative, the artwork, the messaging, the conveying of what the artwork is trying to express. And sometimes the narrative is how the artwork was created. Just like Fewocious. Fewocious was an artist who was transgender and was trying to communicate their feelings on a canvas by turning it into something digital. That's a story. Beeple, 5,000 days as an artist, and he continues to make art every day. That's a narrative. that is the best advice that I can give you guys. I want you guys to invest wisely, and I want you to invest as art collectors. And NFTs is a great space as long as you do your due diligence and research on the artwork. And I wish everybody well in this. It is a great journey. NFTs are here to stay. It has a bright future ahead. And if there's something that I missed, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear it. And if you need tips about how these websites work to acquire these NFTs, please let me know down in the comments again. But other than that, please sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time.